Vegas vets and Vegas newbies and everyone in between. This is Josh from Big Slick Vegas, and we are now on to part two of the best budget hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. And for this one, we've got three hotels that we're going to feature on this video, be the Flamingo, New York, New York, and Bally's. So as we get to the Flamingo, we see that it is located right there in the center part of the strip. And some of the big pros of the Flamingo is obviously its location, being right there in the center part of the strip, very close walking distance to the Link Promenade, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace, which is right across the street, the Cromwell, Bally's, Bellagio, amongst several others that you have a close proximity to the Flamingo. The casino has a really nice classic Vegas vibe to it. Fairly decent sized casino, but pretty easy to navigate. At times, some of the like the poker room seems to be a little bit cramped at times, but other than that, it does have a very good vibe and atmosphere to the whole hotel in itself. This is the oldest standing resort on the Las Vegas Strip. This is, of course, the one that was, pretty much started by legendary mobster Bugsy Siegel. So it has that kind of old classic vibe to it. They have several good entertainment options available, including the X Burlesque topless review show. You have Piff the Magic Dragon, who originally came to fame through America's Got Talent. And then a new show that's coming soon will be RuPaul's Drag Show. And as far as the dining options go too, there's a few restaurants within the casino. This is a lot kind of like the Link, which we discussed on the previous video. Among some of the restaurants there, you have the Bugsy and Myers Steakhouse, Margaritaville, Carlos and Charlie's Mexican restaurant. And then, like the Link, you also have very easy access to the Link Promenade, which of course has several more restaurants available. So there's really is a lot of good dining options available there at the Flamingo. Maybe a couple of the cons might be sometimes some people seem to think that the upkeep of the hotel might be a little bit dated, a little bit. Though they have recently renovated the rooms. The rooms you're looking at about 350 square feet on average for their basic room, at an average of about $86 a night based on the various dates that I checked. Like I said in the previous one, this is based on dates that I took in June, September, and December, and I'm going off the base room rate. Another thing to note too, that if you want to splurge a little bit, a lot of these casinos that I'm talking about, both in the previous and in this video, may have some suites available at a fairly decent price. So maybe it's not going to be under $100 a night, but maybe a little bit more than that. So that's always something to consider. Our next on the list is going to be New York, New York, which is right there around the south end of the strip. Some people consider that to be a con, it being down towards the south end of the strip, but you are within pretty good still several different properties. You're right across the street from MGM Grand. You're next door to the Park MGM, Excalibur, and of course through Excalibur you can access the Luxor and Mandalay Bay. You're also catty corner to the Tropicana. Also too as well, you're also close to the T-Mobile Arena, which is the home of the Las Vegas Golden Knights hockey team. Plus they have several concerts and other sporting events there as well. Some of the other big pros to New York, New York is the dining options. Some of my favorite restaurants are here at New York, New York. Really a long list. There's Gallagher's Steakhouse, Nine Fine Irishmen, which is kind of like an Irish pub, Il Forneo, which I think is one of the most underrated Italian restaurants in Las Vegas. You also have Shake Shack and the Beer House. And that's just a small sample of some of the several restaurants that they do have. Like other casinos, they do have a little food court area, but it's got its own little unique spin on it as it's kind of modeled after kind of like Greenwich Village. They have a lot of good little small little eateries there. They're pretty affordable to eat at. They have the Greenberg's Deli along with Sirocco's Pizza. They have 48th and Crepe. Um, so a lot of good options there. One of these places where if you're hungry, you're not going to have a hard time finding a place to eat at. The vibe and atmosphere of New York, New York is really good. One of my favorites, and it's one of many people's favorites. It certainly has that cool New York feel to it, but they didn't quite overdo it either. You also have like the Times Square Piano Bar, which is a very favorite hangout for most people. Plus, there is what's called the Park, which is a little bit of an area in between New York, New York, and the Park MGM. Supposed to be kind of like Central Park, but I'm sure for those of you that's lived and been to New York City, it's probably not. But it has a lot of outdoor restaurants there and a lot of plenty outdoor seating areas where you can just sit and kind of like relax and chill. The casino area itself is pretty good. It's kind of easy to get around. Once you figure out how it's laid out, it's kind of laid out in a big circle with the casino inside the circle and everything on the perimeters, a lot of your restaurants and shops. Maybe a con to this too might be there isn't really a whole lot of entertainment and attractions. The only show that's really playing there right now is Terry Fader, who has recently moved from the Mirage to New York, New York. They used to have a Cirque show. Of course, Cirque has been going through a lot of financial problems due to the pandemic, and they just one of the shows they decided to get rid of permanently was the Cirque show that they had at New York, New York that was called Zumanity. The value of the rooms themselves are okay. This could be another con, they probably could use another renovation of their rooms, but it's an average size, about 350 square feet, which is similar to that of the Flamingo, and it's at an average price of about $80 a night. Sometimes you can get a good price, what they have, which is called the Spa Suite, which includes a whirlpool tub. Sometimes I've seen those rooms run before the resort fee around $100 a night. So with the resort fee and taxes, you're probably looking about 130, 140 a night. My wife and I have stayed at that room a couple times, and it's well worth the extra money. Or maybe you can go ahead and book a normal room and see if you can't get a complimentary upgrade to like the Spa Suite or the Marquis Suite, which is a larger version of the Spa Suite. Finally, on this list, we get to Bally's, which is like the Flamingo right there around the center part of this strip. As you can see, it's directly across from the Bellagio, not too terribly far from the Cosmopolitan or Planet Hollywood. Right next door to Bally's is the Paris Hotel, which is actually connected to the Bally's through indoor walkway. It's also very close to the Cromwell, Flamingo, Caesar's Palace. Among some of the many cons of Bally's, obviously, is the location, as we just discussed. The casino area, once again, kind of an older classic vibe to the vibe that it has to that. Kind of like the Flamingo a little bit. Not too big, and once again, not too small. Some people may find it a little too smoky in there. So if that bothers you a little bit, that might be an issue. The dining options are pretty good there as well, or pretty decent. You have the BLT Steakhouse, which is home to the Sterling Brunch, which for those that don't know, that's a brunch that they do every Sunday. It's kind of like a little buffet, but includes all you can eat filet mignon, lobster, crab legs, and so forth. As of right now, I don't think they've reopened that due to the pandemic, but hopefully that comes back soon because that's something that's definitely on my Vegas bucket list. Um, you also have, besides that, you also have the Tequila Mexican restaurant, as well as Buca de Pepo, a small little food court area. But out in front of Bally's is what's called the Grand Bazaar Shops, which has several other restaurants that you can have access to, including Giordano's Chicago-style deep dish pizza, Dirt Dog, Blue Ribbon fried chicken, the Island Time Tiki Bar, as well as Wahlburgers and several other restaurants as well. Um, the pool area there is pretty decent, and I forgot to mention earlier, the Flamingo, when I was talking about that, does have is a pretty popular pool for most people. New York's pool is just considered to be okay, so that might be another con to New York. Um, Another thing I like about Bally's is the sports book. Most sports books are located right off the casino area, where this sports book at Bally's is located towards the rear of the property, but it is very big, kind of secluded, but it's one of my favorite sports books for sure. They also have a good amount of shows there. They have a magic act called Xavier Mortimer's Magical Dream. They have like a traditional Vegas show called Extravaganza, which has all your typical like Vegas showgirls and so forth. And then there is the X Rocks Burlesque show, which is kind of like an offshoot of the X Burlesque from Flamingo, only it's set to like hard rock, heavy metal music. Um, so those are some of the big pros to it. The cons might be the appearance of an upkeep. Not so much the inside of the casino, but outside the casino does look a little bit dated and tired. I would grant you that. You know, the picture here, it doesn't look too bad, but during the daytime, it does look like it could use a little refresher. Another big pro, though, going back to pros, is the size of these rooms. They are at an average size of 450 square feet. And that's just for their base room, so we're not even talking about larger rooms or suites, which is certainly probably the largest room you're going to find at a budget hotel. As far as the budget hotels that we have discussed and that what are on the list. So it's really a good value, and it's only priced right now at an average of $72 a night. So given the square footage you're getting and for how little you're paying, it really is a good deal to have. So that brings us at the end of this list of best budget hotels. Hope you enjoyed this, and please like and share and subscribe, and so you can have access to more content, which we'll be getting out here pretty soon. So thank you, and we will see you on the next video.